rather request to know what was the low number for last year, what was the low watermark. So that might be illuminated. What was the low watermark for cash on hand last year? You can't answer that now, and I understand that, okay? But I would appreciate it if you get that number, okay? Because it should be fair.
We didn't bounce any checks.
And that's good news. It's very expensive, I understand, when you say to do that.
All right.
But that
We haven't. Well, go ahead.
On your point about begging to the town, which I found interesting, say back in the 90s, they go beg to the town. I find that totally unnecessary, given that according to Chapter 52, the town's supposed to give us monthly payments unless there is a written agreement. And as you well know from our work last year, there never was such an agreement. So you didn't have to go to town and beg. All you needed to do was go to town and demand with pride.
We have people.
I'm not making any particular observations other than fact, and of course asking a question relative to what a low watermark is, which I think would be illuminated. I'm not suggesting that it's excessive. I'm just saying that when we have an excessive amount budgeted versus what we actually needed, from my interpretation, that means excessive taxation. Now, there may be reasons, as you were describing, in terms of the cash flow and how it moves about, and I understand that. Okay. But you also said that we keep adding to it every year. We keep adding to it every year because we keep budgeting more than we actually need. So that we can have this excess, as I think you call it. Right? This is a fair word as well. Excess taxation.
Maybe we should work to spend more money.
Anyway, I wanted to know, because I'm sure you would be against your core principle to not be food.
You're right.
I can't imagine you doing that.
You're right.
Again, I want to thank the commissioners for having a deliberative session on the budget. It's been very informative, and I think it might help us all in making our decisions in the annual meeting, and even more important, making the annual meeting go yet faster. It should take a lot of questions off the table. Thank you.
Thank you. Richard?
Just a couple things. On the independent contractor and the activities facilitator, have you chosen any individuals for these positions? And if you haven't, then what is going to be the process?
We will advertise it.
Both of these positions will be advertised as such, right?
That's correct.
Right, and reviewed by the commissioners.
By the commissioners of the
by the majority of the commissioners.
Correct.
Okay. All right, that was one question. Second question. There has been a lot of talk, or I've heard talk, of the state charging for the use of the beach. Are we involved with that, or have you heard anything?
The state has, at this point, we do not have a memorandum of understanding. What I've been told is we will continue like we've been continuing, and at some point we will get together and we will. They are not ready for us. They're working with the town right now, I believe. Is that correct? Yes. And then they will get to us. But right now, what's been done is going to be the same.
All right, then maybe I'll ask Mr. Pierce. How is that going along with the agreement between the state and the town of Hampton?
Well, as you know, the state plays thin cutting games. We all are just playing once in a while. They take the money from the meters, and that goes to parks and dread. And then, of course, the state comes along on the highways and says, we don't have any money. The state doesn't have any money because we don't have any money. And they keep saying that loud and loud. It sort of irritates us because they get all the money, not just for the beach. Rooms and meal taxes, parking meters, that goes to the state. But see, when they are negotiating, oh, that goes over there. We don't have any money. So that's one of my big gripes. But putting that aside, the dread thing, we're moving along that we're trying to get them to do some things that we would like for them to do, and it's been memos back and forth the last couple of weeks that I've seen, and the last little one that I recall off the top of my head is I'm not trying to get to do the plowing of the sidewalks and stuff like that. And that's something they never have done before, so that's sort of like a new item for discussion. So In my opinion, it's going very slowly, and I think it's all based on the fact nobody wants to pay anything, including the town. I mean, I'll be honest, we don't want to pay for anything we don't want to have to, and neither does the state, but that's the underwriting. It's moving, the dredge, we want to get dredge done first, and we'll try to make an arrangement with the highway department.
Like I said, that may be some of the use for this fluff. If the state comes along and sucks us with a bill for fireworks or for some of those events, who knows?
When I talked to Phil Bryce, he understands. What happens is they don't always understand what goes on down here. They don't know what the village district does, and that these funds that we're using as taxpayer money to set off fireworks, and they're like, oh, that's taxpayer money. Oh, and you're doing this. So now they're looking at it a little differently. So I think he is very receptive to working with us. He understands that the town, the beach, and the state want a productive Hampton Beach. And I think he's going to be a great guy to work with. So I'm not, so far, it could change, but from what I've gathered, and I've talked to him, I think Maureen talked to him the other day.
At the deliberative session.
And, yeah, he was here at the deliberative session.
Did you see him speak at the? He spoke on, I believe, the North Beach bathhouse.
The tying into the.
Yeah, and I caught him when he came up.
So hopefully we'll be able to work well with them. I mean, they understand that what we spend money here is bringing them revenue
to the state.
Oh, yeah.
And if we're putting on a function like the sand sculptures, and then he wants to make it so we can't afford to put it on, then they're losing money, not just us. So.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? June?